Welcome, Craig. How are you, man?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing well. Just having a little discussion with Chris here.
How you doing,
Um,
Craig?
Good, Chris. It's Friday, right?
it's
Yeah,
Friday.
Wrapping
man.
up a great week and gonna keep it going, working tomorrow as well, getting stuff done. So it's all good.
Good. Um, I was telling this guy the other day, Chris and Craig, about the Ironworkers Union, how they have at all their conferences NA and AA meetings, and if somebody tests positive for a substance, they say if you want, we'll pay for your rehab and support you in your recovery. And I don't know why the whole industry doesn't do that. There's still this thing of oh, if you test positive, you're a pariah. We don't want you. We hate you. Get out and stay out.
Yeah,
It's such a wrong way of thinking in my mind. But
I did a I did something with a company in California, a small company that reached out to me. Um, and we talked about they wanted to put together what they called a last chance agreement, meaning if
mhm.
somebody got caught, this, that, and the other thing. And when you look at addiction, I said to them, when you look at addiction, you're looking at sometimes people relapse up to 8 times before they catch, before it catches
Yeah,
on. So,
yeah,
um, but instead of this, like, last chance agreement, why don't we build something that is going to get them help and going to hold them accountable?
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and then instead of calling it a last chance agreement, why don't we call it a new beginning agreement?
Yeah, words
And
words have meaning. Yeah.
yeah,
It
and
reminds me of Mother Teresa. She said they invited her to an anti-war rally, and she
right.
said, "Well, when you have a peace rally, call me."
Exactly. And it's funny. I say, and again, I'm not somebody in recovery, but all these people come out of recovery and they're learning to, okay, I have to make amends with a lot of things,
Yeah,
but now it's like last chance, it's that finger shaking at you. This is
right,
your last chance. Like,
right.
you know, um,
All right. Welcome, Therese. Welcome, Melanie. Welcome, Rob. Good to see everybody here. So we're 2 minutes in. So let's go ahead and start. Let's do our 1 to 10 exercise, and I'll start. I'm probably a 7. This week's been kind of a tough week family wise. I've got somebody struggling in some areas and trying to help him, and it's taken some stuff away from what I needed to be doing. So, uh, but that's fine. And I'm always, for me, what I do to maintain and to really recover is sleep. So I have been getting my sleep this week. So that's been a good thing. So anybody want to go? Unmute, talk to me. Okay, Chris, you're increasing. What's the increase from? What are you focusing on?
I think I'm just focusing on, figuring out doing some things for myself.
Okay,
And taking a little bit more time for Chris, not spreading
yeah,
myself too thin.
good. Craig, what do you got, boy? That's a good one, man. That's an 8. That's awesome. How do you maintain that?
I think just being intentional
Yeah,
about focusing on my well-being as far as doing yoga or doing um, walks every day. Like I have a beautiful view right out my front porch and just go out there and spend some time outside enjoying it. It's really
nice.
relaxing and helping with stress relief
That's
quite a
awesome.
bit.
That's awesome. Rob, 7's okay. It's pretty good.
It's okay. I'm struggling with some work mental processing of if this will make sense. I help with a podcast, so that's
Hmm.
the art that I make. But the company that I make it for doesn't distribute it the way that I've advised them or think they should. So that ego gets in the way of I'm making art. I think it's good art, but they don't distribute it, so nobody hardly knows about the art. So that's my ego from my past of knowing how to
Right.
build a podcast, right? Like podcast's not my first rodeo. I know how to
Yeah.
help make them successful, but the teammate that I work with, they're happy with what they have. So there's that struggle of, well, I'm not happy with what you're doing. So how much
Yeah.
longer is this
Right.
going to ride?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Melanie, 8 or 9. Wow. What do you, if you don't mind, what do you attribute that to? What do you focus on to get to be 8 or 9 this week?
Hi, how you doing today?
Good.
Well, actually, I'm the Craig wife, so pretty much we're
Oh,
doing the same thing. We start to doing yoga, and sometimes we listen together a podcast. He read a lot of books, and normally I didn't too much, but normally we doing really good exercise every day.
nice. Exercise is a miracle cure for just about everything. There's a million studies on how it helps literally everything. Every disease, every energy, anxiety, depression, exercise will help all of those things. So, and what happens? We get busy, and what do? Oh, I just want to hit the alarm and sleep in a little bit, and that's going to help me more. That's okay. You got to make those choices, but exercise. I tell people that I coach, exercise is the place to start unless you're exhausted. Then let's work on things like nutrition and sleep to get you the energy to start doing a simple low impact walking, yoga, swimming, something like that to start. It'll help everything. Therese, sorry you're under the weather. And here's the other thing, and Therese, you can weigh in on this if you'd like. What do we do? Like, you got a project, you got a job you have to execute, and then you're sick. And a lot of times we just try to work sick, right?
That's exactly it, and that's what I've been doing. And
Oh no.
it's not really working for me. Well, I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home, so I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes that blurs the boundaries of, okay, should I call out today or should I just push through
Yeah.
and just get some work done?
Yeah.
So I know that I do it to myself, but then it's also hard because I am somebody who has, like, I could get sick from somebody sneezing like 20 feet away from me. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
also like, my immune system's not so great. So it's like, how much time do I need to spend taking care of myself versus pushing myself? And that's the
Totally.
balance that I have a hard time with, where I used to be able to push myself so much harder and I
Yeah.
can't anymore. So that's what I'm trying to do.
It's a tough balance. I remember it was Dayquil, NyQuil. That was me. Dayquil, Dayquil, go all day, and then get home and collapse. Do that NyQuil. Try to get a good night's sleep.
Yep.
Dayquil, NyQuil for a week till you get through the cold. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
All
Therese
right.
tries to be that left arm. She tries to be that left arm because I know her well enough and work with her. She tries to be that left arm.
I
Yeah.
try.
Well, take care of yourself. I know, I mean, you could say it all day, but you have to do it. That's all. That's
Exactly.
going to be up to you.
That's the hard part.
It is. It's totally hard. I mean, and I've got my own business, so there's not many people I can delegate a lot of stuff to. So sometimes you have to push through, but again, it's all about that balance. Just want to give you guys a reminder and spread the word on this. On my online store, there's 3 free evaluations that are really helpful. The emotional intelligence evaluation, the nutrition survey tells us how your body's working, and the body battery inventory. And I wanted to show you a feature of the body battery inventory. I'm going to share screen here. I want to show you a feature of the body battery inventory that I think is really cool, because here's the thing. When we talked about your number, we talked about things that are stressing us, part of the company that doesn't get what I'm trying to do, and trying to push through while I'm feeling sick. So we know there's things that are going to stress us. So this is the body battery performance plan. So we know right now there are things in your life that are going to stress you. Maybe it's a weekly meeting or a commute or holidays that may be coming up at some point, or paying bills once a month, or tax time, or all of those things get in your head. Okay, those things are going to stress me out. So the whole thing about the body battery inventory, remember we had the arm out exercise. It's all about building in more recovery. Reduce stress where you can, but build in more recovery. Well, what are you going to do before, during, or after that stressful event to recover from that stress? So create an actual plan for it. So we've got daily dischargers and then occasional discharges, and then what are you going to reach? How are you going to recharge? So we've even got a little sample plan there. Let me make that a little bigger. So see, you've got a commute. Well, I'm going to listen to music, or I got make weird noises. I don't know why I put that in there, but so some kind of deadline-driven project, either within a project or the project itself. Again, focus on the positive aspects. Take those breaks. You got a stressful daily situation of some kind. Talk about going to gratitude, being thankful, smile, creates all kind of cool things in your brain. Some meeting or stress at work, you get the idea. You can even do deep breathing during a meeting, right? So some of these things you can do while you're doing the stressful event. So try this, do the body battery inventory, see what your number is. If it's a negative number, you got to build in more recovery, reduce your stress. If it's a positive number, you're probably doing some good things. So I just wanted to point that out because that's very helpful for a lot of folks. Okay. All right. Let me go to our sleep slide and just, did anybody try any of these or that you haven't tried before? How's your sleep going? Just weigh in. What have you done or what will you do to get better sleep, and what have you done? And I've got something that I'm going to share that really helps me when I wake up and can't go back to sleep. Anybody want to share?
I've actually been trying to get up a little bit earlier. I started falling off and sleeping like a little bit later. And when I say later, your 6 o'clock hour, where I was always a 4:30 kind of guy. And not that I have to be up at that hour, but I enjoy being up at that hour.
Right.
I enjoy the peacefulness, the quietness, and all that. So I've been doing it not drastically, but backing that alarm up 10 minutes, backing up another 10 minutes. So just because I enjoy the mornings, I enjoy not having to rush.
I'm the same. I'm the same.
Sit down, have a cup of coffee, and relax, and whatever that might bring me.
Yeah, I do the same. I'm up usually by 5. And like that morning quiet, sitting out back. I'm on a little neighborhood lake. It's just beautiful in the morning. Anybody else?
Yeah,
I've been working on that breath work before going to sleep. Those deep, long sighs to try and bring the body energy down, if that makes sense.
Yep. Absolutely. Anybody else? Craig, you had something?
Yes, I think kind of the opposite of what Chris was saying. I try to get to bed earlier than normal. Like I think in the past, my routine has kind of been watching TV, which talking about the no electronics, and then falling asleep on the couch, downstairs, and then waking up, a couple hours later with my neck and my back hurting because the couch is less comfortable than the bed. But instead, kind of flipping that, going to bed maybe an hour earlier and then getting that sleep, much higher quality.
Excellent. Anyone else? By the way, my wife, she helped. We were like co-created a lot of this stuff, especially with stress. She's a naturopath, chiropractor, nutritionist. She really knows her stuff. But she had some of her patients that were on the sleep drugs like Lunesta and Ambien and those things. She literally had to shave the edge of the drug over a 6-month period, doing a little bit less every night to get them off those drugs, because when they tried to stop cold turkey, they had all these anxiety, unable to sleep, and sometimes even tachycardia, heart rate racing. But if you're on one of those drugs, and you want to get off, there may be a way to do it, but you have to do it very gradually. Okay. All right.
And there's plenty of other stuff too, Brent. Like I'm sure your wife knows. I know Therese knows, but like different herbals and stuff like that.
Totally.
That are just totally good for you, and you don't have to go to a drugstore to get them.
There's a great one called Bach, BACH, Bach Sleep Remedy. It's a homeopathic. And Andrea, my wife, says it really helps her when she's got the chattering monkey brain. If she takes that, it calms the mind down. So try it. I mean, you can get it at CVS. They have it at any kind of pharmacy. Usually will have those Bach sleep remedies, and they're good. Melatonin can help short term, but this guy, Matthew Walker, says avoid it long term because it can mess with your natural circadian rhythms. But I do it like when I travel over to Europe or Asia, I'll do a reset with the melatonin the first night, and then usually I'm good. I'm on that time zone. So if you're doing West Coast, East Coast, sometimes melatonin can help that first night. Here's the other thing I said in the promo, and I think we said this last time, but Navy SEALs, they do the legs up the wall. Like when they need to catch some deep rest and sleep, they do that yoga pose of legs up the wall. It resets your whole nervous system, calms everything down. That's also a good thing. If you wake up and can't go back to sleep, legs up the wall can be awesome. Here's what I do. Here's when I wake up and can't go back to sleep because mostly of the brain stuff. Remember we did this, and I'll just explain it again, but with the counting, breathing and counting 1 to 4. So breathe in, breathe out, count 1 in your head, breathe in, breathe out, count 2, breathe in, breathe out, count 3, breathe in, breathe out, count 4, and then start over at 1. And your brain will continue to try to get your attention. But if you can really focus on that breathing and counting, after 4 or 5 rounds of that, usually your brain slows down and you drift off back to sleep. So if you have that issue, try that next time. Try that breathing and counting. It really helps me, and it's helped others that I've told about it. So anybody else have any magic formulas for when they wake up and can't go back to sleep?
I think for me, what I've tried to do, because I got into a bad habit of waking up and then checking my phone. And then I'd be sucked in, and
Right.
then there's no going back to sleep.
No.
I tried to make sure like my electronics are away, and I've been enjoying this stuff. It's on my TV, but again, it's like you put on Waves for 8 hours, you put on like a campfire for 8 hours.
Right.
So some of that helps me to not wake up, which is helpful, but the mind over matter, and again, the nice herbal teas at night help, but the not reaching for my electronics in the middle of the night has helped me fall back asleep.
Totally. And that
I
does
didn't realize what a
things.
habit I had gotten into with that.
Yeah. And not only do you start down that rabbit trail of answering an email or a text or whatever, but also the light from your phone wakes your brain up and tells your brain, hey, time to get up. So you start some cortisol going, a little, your body starts waking up. But if you can keep the light out of your eyes, it really helps. All right, cool. Anybody else? All
Start
right.
keeping a notepad by the side of the bed when the squirrel
Yeah.
starts wanting attention. Give it attention.
Yeah.
Take the idea, write it down.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I have the same habit. Like there is normally I wake up because of the alarm. I falling asleep for another 30 minutes more longer, and then the first thing is watching my phone, and then you say good morning to my husband, because during that time he's not in home. He's already left work. But yeah, I think just watching the first thing, watching the phone is not a good habit either. So
Right. Absolutely. Thank you, Melanie. So I just put in the chat couple of articles. One is Want a Good Night's Sleep. Some of it's similar to Matthew Walker's deal, but then the other is Yoga and Sleep, which includes leg up the wall, but it also has some other yoga postures that they recommend before bed that does a reset on your nervous system, calms your nervous system down, calms that chattering monkey brain down. So just download those and check those out as well. And let me see if there's anything else. that I wanted to make sure I covered today? I think I'm good. Anybody have any last minute? I've got some ideas for next week that I wanted to run past you and see what you think. But let me just say before we close out, anybody have any other stuff for sleep or just for stress in general that they found to be really helpful? The magic for me and for a lot of people I coach, especially the field folks, if you can just get in your head of the deep breathing and gratitude, that's miraculous. If you can get in that habit, it's really tough to feel that stress and chattering monkey brain when you're thinking about things you're grateful for and thankful for. And that deep breathing does that whole, just relaxes your body and your brain and emotions and all that. So here's what I'm thinking. I've gotten some requests, probably maybe a dozen or so over the last month, and people are having trouble with feedback. Now we're going to revisit this whole stress thing down the road because there's a lot more to talk about it. But I've got some really cool, simple tools on giving feedback to people, and it doesn't have to be feedback like a boss to a direct report. It can be feedback from just people that you're dealing with, like Rob. Maybe this is a good way to do the feedback to get these guys to listen to what you're talking about. So that's what I'm thinking for next week. And I wanted to get your input or if there's anything else that you would need, because I'm getting a lot of people they're not good at it. They don't know how to do it. They don't understand the reason for it. And usually feedback consists of an annual review of some type, where you check that box and, hey, you're doing this good and here's what you can do better. But it's like going to the gym once a year, So this is more of I've got really good tools, a 3-step feedback model. I'm going to give you guys something called outcome coaching. So if you're dealing with a really difficult issue with somebody, or if they're having a difficult time, or maybe if it's an internal issue for you, you can do this outcome coaching. It's miraculous. It gives you some perspective on the issue, a way forward, and really a good step-by-step, what's the next thing that I need to do to resolve this issue. So I will share those next time. I will put out the word on LinkedIn. Please spread the word. And if feedback is an issue for folks at your company, I'd love to see some more folks on here. I'm going to keep doing this thing every week, and whoever shows up. Like I said, it's not an ego thing with me. It's a let's get together and help each other kind of a thing with me, and let's just see where this goes. I'm curious to see where it goes, but I will be here every week. So I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Anybody have any comments on the feedback thing? Rob gave me the thumbs up. I'm seeing a lot of struggle in that area in the industry.
Sign me up. The struggle is real.
Okay.
It sounds interesting because sometimes with feedback, you don't always know what you're saying is the right thing, or if you're presenting it correctly, and where you're going to step on somebody's toes.
Yeah, absolutely. And this outcome coaching thing, you just ask the questions that are on the sheet and write in the answers that they tell you. And if it's something internal, you're just thinking about it and writing down your own answers for it. But I'm telling you, I've developed this thing over about a year and a half because I couldn't get people to give me the right responses. So I made the question such that they can't help but give you the response that they need and that you need to be able to push them forward and get to a solution. It's so awesome. All right. So that's what we're going to do next week. It's going to be feedback and coaching, how to do great feedback and coaching with some really awesome tools to be able to do that. Anybody want to close us out with anything? All right. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Have a great next week, and hope to see you next Friday.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much,
See you
Brent.
guys.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great one.
week.
Right.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.